Today, we have a double feature. Two very different indie games. This is Unemployment Simulator 2018 and Sector Zero. I want to start my review on Unemployment Simulator 2018 by stating that I have been unemployed before, but not specifically in 2018. As proof, I have attached a pic of myself with a coworker of mine at Krispy Kreme back in 2018. I will take my experience of being unemployed and of being alive in 2018 into consideration. The game starts with a very great intro that brings you home the day that you have been canned from your work. I thought it was very funny the game blurred out the faces on the bus. When you get home and has you put things in the fridge prior to going to bed, you then wake up with very few menial tasks to complete before going back to bed. I do know how depressing and debilitating it is to feel hopeless waiting for somebody to call you to give you a job. It's also hard not knowing if you're going to get back to the rung on the ladder that you fell from, or if you have to start completely new, while trying to survive simultaneously. The game tells the story well enough through dream sequences. The gameplay, however, feels terrible and is boring. The dream sequences are actually interesting. I know YouTube is harder to burst into than it is to do a big hit on Steam nowadays, it feels like. But I think taking out more gameplay to show more of the compelling story would have been much better. I would have been more okay watching it almost like a video with smaller interactions. I barely played much of the game as it was simply too dull to continue. If you're finding yourself wanting to play this game, it is almost $10. I cannot recommend this game, but I hope they work to make a fleshed out video of the good parts of the game. They seem to know how to tell a story, but don't know how to make compelling gameplay. That is why we give Unemployment Simulator 2018 1.5 2018 me at Krispy Kreme out of 5. Now on to the more interesting of the two games. Sector Zero is a physics-based puzzle game where you interact with platforming and avoid obstacles. It felt like a proof of concept as I played. Felt very inspired from Portal, especially when I knocked down the first turret. The visuals were interesting, but the level design was missing a certain level of focus needed for puzzle games, especially platformers. In the first few levels, I found myself able to jump around the map almost too easily. It felt like I was interacting with someone showing me that they know how to make a competent game. And you know what? The game was competent. Going into the game, it felt like a modern game with modern settings. The settings were robust and the sound quality was clear. I'm not sure how the game scales as it continues. The game was still too boring to go past the first few levels. I think this game is worth a viewing if this is your sort of genre. The game is only $4. Unemployment Simulator 2018 was the first game from the developer, and Sector Zero is this developer's second game. I'm hoping to see where both creators go from these projects, as both show very different sets of skills. With all that being said, we give Sector Zero 3 exploding turrets out of 5.